Hey guys, JB here from Alpha Wolf Consulting, coming to you today with another episode of Understanding Thyself. And this episode is all about overcoming and letting go of past traumas and emotional baggage, okay, so you can live free and liberated in every moment and every day moving forward. Now, like most teachings that I have, it revolves around the principle of Zen, that there's nothing to fucking achieve. There is nothing to achieve. When I realize someone in my past hurt me and I identify I don't like that behavior, I have overcome that behavior. When I realize I don't want that behavior, I'm not accepting that behavior, I let go to that behavior because it is not what I want in life. Do you sort of understand? There's no work to be fucking done. Anyone that tells you that they're working on themselves, they're trying to be, like, they're just fucking bullshitting you because they're actually afraid to look at the truth and actually do the work. So you've just got to understand, in the moment that I admit to myself, I don't like this behavior, I don't know how to fix it, like, I don't know, I let go of it. It's not in my control, but I don't want that. And when we do that, we tell our subconscious, I don't like or identify with that behavior, so please don't, put me in those situations. But the other thing we do is we activate our reticular activation gland, which identifies negative behavior or things we identify as being negative and avoids it. So when I see traits and behaviors within someone else, like for example an ideal partner, and I don't like those traits and behaviors, for example, it could be breadcrumbing, it could be manipulation, it could be egotism, it could be narcissism, it could be any of these things. When I identify that behavior and they choose to take that behavior, that is a red flag. That is a boundary I set clearly. So that's how we move past our past trauma, is we let go to the trauma of this is outside of my control, and now in every moment forward, if you choose to try and take me down that path, I am going to stop and say, I'm not going down that path. If you want to go down that path and you try and drag me down that path, I'm going to punch you in the face. If you want to drag me down that path, I will punch you in the face. And to most people, that is enough of a deterrent that they won't drag you down that path. But should they try, you punch them in the face and you hold your ground. So for example, if we stay on a relationship, if I say my boundary is, for example, like, I don't compete with other people. So should I get the feeling or the sense that I am in competition with other people, I will tell you, I don't compete with other people. If you try and make me compete with other people, I will walk away without hesitation. And do you sort of see? Whereas in the past, I would have felt insecure about setting that boundary, and I would have been holding on to that pain that everyone makes me compete with other people. Do you sort of get it? So like, for example, like when we accept that, like, I don't like competing with other people. I don't know how to fix this, but I just know I don't like it. Okay? The next time someone tries to make me compete with someone, my subconscious will just say, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, and I will feel highly uncomfortable. So do you ever feel that way when you get into a relationship, that someone behaves how other people in your past have behaved, and it just makes you feel like, I don't like this, I don't want this, I don't like this, I don't want this, let me go, like, I don't want to be a part of this. Do you sort of get it? So that's our subconscious. So when we understand this in terms of trauma, okay, our subconscious, those feelings of pain, those negative emotions, they're not negative. Like, if someone stabs me, I can see it as, oh my God, someone has stabbed me. Oh, it hurts. Wah, 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 wah. Whatever. I can be all upset and shit like that. Or I can go, oh, someone stabbed me. Is it vital? Am I dying? No. Can I continue fighting? Yes. Okay, good. Let's do it. Like, do you sort of get it? Like, I can see a wound as being highly traumatic and highly wounding and damaging to myself and my identity and who I am. Or I can see it as a brush or a glancing blow. Like, do you get it? Like, their action has not changed, but how I see their action determines how much impact that action has on me. So if I always look back and say my life has been traumatic, my life is this, my life is that, this person did this to me and it was so traumatic and it was a 10 out of 10 on trauma and fucking all this bullshit. Know this, like, cunts get their hands cut off in Africa because some cunt voted for another person. Do you sort of get it? Like, your shit is as bad as you make it out to be, but there are many people in this world that have it far, far worse than you and have zero control over it. So you got control over your own shit, deal with it. Stop seeing everything as being highly traumatic, highly negative, life-threatening. Fuck that. That's a peasant's way to think. That's a weak way to think. Because then every action any other takes against you is a mortal blow to you. You are so weak and vulnerable to the world outside. If every action or any action any other takes against you can do naught but scratch or make a blemish on your skin and your soul, nothing anyone can conjure against you can ever do anything to you. They have no power. The power to reality is held within the mind. So what do I mean by this? The perception, the meaning, the emotions you put behind experiences and you put behind events that have happened to you and other people's actions and behaviors determine how you construct reality within your psychological construct, within your psychology, all your beliefs, your thoughts, the narratives. Do you sort of get it? Like, that's the thing. You get to choose in every moment. Do you want liberation or do you want enslavement? Subjugation to your fears, to past trauma, to people's actions they take against you. Subjugation to not only what they have done to you, but what they could potentially do to you. What is real and what is imagined are the same in the mind. So you just got to understand, if your mind is weak, your fears take control of your mind. If your mind is strong, your fears have nowhere to grow in your mind. Do you sort of get it? So, like, the thing is, in life, if you see everything that you have gone through as being traumatic, anything I do to you, if I want to fuck with you, will be highly traumatic. Do you like me having that power over you, to be able to control you, to be able to dictate your actions and behaviors through words, through actions, through behaviors? All I need to do is snarl and snap at you and you will come like that. Why? Because you're afraid of the potential trauma that I can create in your life. So I hold you hostage. This is how past traumas are. Do you sort of get it? All someone has to do is even breathe the thought of potential trauma, and you are impaled by its fear. Do you get it? You have to change the way you think and the way you structure your mind to realize, even if someone was to stab me in the throat and kill me instantly, nothing bad has happened. Do you get it? I didn't get a chance to fight, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. There is nothing negative. Like, do you sort of get it? When there's nothing negative, there is nothing anyone or any fear can ever do to me. If I feel fear about betrayal I have gone through in the past, that is okay. Should I smell betrayal? I know what to do. I know the actions to take. Do you get it? By being confident within ourselves to say, fuck you, these are my boundaries. If you don't like my boundaries, fuck off. Being confident enough to say that to any and everyone, your mother, your grandmother, anyone. Your boundaries are for you and you alone. It doesn't matter the fucking relational bond you have with anyone. You treat the closest people in your life like they are a fucking stranger on the street, and should they dare to try and disrespect you or act against you in negative ways and create trauma within your life, you treat them like a motherfucker on the street who's trying to create trauma in your life, and you say, oi, keep it up and I'm going to kick your teeth in. Would you like that? Do you sort of get it? You put them on fucking parade and you say, oi, your behaviour, okay, is making me want to attack you. Do you want me to attack you? Yes or no? If it's yes, keep it up and let's see where it goes. If it's no, maybe look at your behaviour, change your fucking behaviour and move on. Do you sort of get it? Like, we have to be willing to enforce ourselves because we are the fucker that protects ourselves. No one else does. Like, do you sort of get it? We go around fucking life expecting every other cunt to be looking out for our best interests. So we look out for their best interests, but all these cunts, they're fucking lying. They're wearing masks. They're after their own gain. Users. Why? Because that's what popular society glorifies, using other people. What you can get out of life, what you can get out of others, what you can get out of your situation. Maybe shift your perspective to what you can give. It's not the man who, for example, wins Mr. Olympia that is the strongest man in the world. Like, do you sort of get it? It's the man that's able to push when his body's broken, when every ounce of effort is gone, where he's on his last legs, and to be able to dig down and find courage and keep pushing regardless, like David Goggins. Do you sort of fucking get it? Like, you can take Mr. Olympia and you can take David Goggins, and every day of the week, Mr. Olympia, I'd be able to fuck up. David Goggins, no chance. There is nothing I could do to ever break his mind. There is nothing I could do to break his body. He would just keep attacking. Do you sort of get it? Like, Mr. Olympia can be muscular. He can have muscle development and all of this. But all I have to do is find the chink in his mind, in the armor of his mind, and I have him. All I have to do is take him outside of his element, outside of his comfort zone, and I have him. David Goggins, there is no comfort zone I could take him out of. Do you sort of get it? When we live our life dedicated to living uncomfortably outside of where we personally feel comfortable, we become so comfortable in the unknown, in the uncomfortable, in the risk of life. When we focus on only developing within our comfort zones, oh yes, we look strong, but my oh my, we are weak in the mind. We are stuck in our ways. We don't have the ability to adapt to situations. We don't have the ability to innovate. We don't have the ability to do complex problem solving across multi-levels of dimension or layers, okay, simultaneously. Whereas David Goggins, let's say you tried to pull him under the water, he would be able to do a lot of different calculations and strategizing to be able to work his way out of it. Whereas Mr. Olympia, if you pull him under the water, has never experienced that before. He may be able to stay calm for a bit, but at a certain point that panic is going to rise. And when that panic rises, the shift from the conscious mind that is in control to the unconscious mind that is uncontrolled happens. And if that mind has not been worked on, has not been developed, has not been structured, it is unstructured chaos. And in that chaos is where you can be the greatest of all time, and your demise is like that. Because in an instant you go from having this ideal structure or identity of yourself, of who you are, to it shattering and you now having fragmented pieces of who you are. How can you continue fighting when you don't even know which way's up, which way's down, which way's back, which way's forward? Who's your enemy? Who's your friend? How can you fight? How can you continue fighting when you don't know how long dark's going to last? When you don't know when sunrise is? When you don't know when you're getting out of this? Are you going to be able to dig down and pick those fragments up and put them together in some motherfucking form and fashion and push forward? Or are you going to crumble because those fragments of that identity of self were your armor? Do you sort of get it? So you just got to understand that when we're letting go of trauma, okay, when we're dealing with trauma, we're taking ourselves from our comfortable state of being happy to an uncomfortable state of feeling loss, of feeling sad, of feeling hurt, of feeling regret, of feeling not good enough, of all of this. And we're becoming comfortable in it. So anyone that tries to put me in there, like, it's okay. Like, I'm used to it. Like, this is where I eat, breathe, and sleep. You know what I mean? This isn't an unfamiliar territory to me. This is very, very calming to me. So when I'm able to, with traumas, look at things like manipulation and pull that fucking knife out and go, well, yeah, it sucked being manipulated, but hey, at least I know what manipulation looks like now. At least I know when someone's doing manipulative behaviors, what actions to take. Like, do you sort of get it? Like, it's not actually that big of a wound because I've sort of sewn it up with my future actions and my structured plan on how to deal with that situation in the future. And that's the important thing. It's not like we just fucking pull the knife out and go, woo, blood party. You know what I mean? Like, we pull the knife out, then we triage the wound. So we address the emotional thing. Like, for example, let's say manipulation. Like, we address the manipulative behavior and how it affected us and how it damaged us, and we accept like the things that happen. And if we are the manipulative one, we look at our behavior and we accept, you know, our actions and things like that. Do you get it? And then we work out, well, what would be the best things moving forward in future? If someone tries to manipulate me, and let's say emotionally manipulate me, well, easy done. I just shut off my emotions when I get a red flag warning that manipulation's at play. Do you sort of get it? Because that sort of just neutralizes the manipulation, because you can't emotionally manipulate me if my emotions are reserved and behind a wall. Do you sort of get it? Like, yeah, I may let you think you're manipulating me, but it's sort of like it's to see if you're actually manipulating me or not. Do you sort of get it? So like, for example, like let's say we had a trauma of, let's say, domestic violence and anger and aggression and violence, okay? Like, we went through that, we've accepted, I don't like going through violence and domestic violence and all of this. This is not what I want. I don't know how to fix it, but I know it needs to be fixed, okay? We leave that, like we work out what are the actions to take. Well, I don't like that situation. I could try and work on that fucking person, but I wouldn't. DV, I'd fucking get out of there and then get rid of the cunt. And then I'd probably go and buy either a large hunting knife, maybe an axe,